All right, question number 3. What will the Patriots offense look like in 2019? This is a lot of speculation here, but obviously we're looking at a lot of changes with Gronk maybe retiring. Hogan, Dorsett, Patterson, they could all be out the door. You got Julian Edelman left, and then you maybe a solid running back contingent. I don't know.
Yeah, you look at the playoff recipe here for success. It was Julian Edelman, it was Sony Michel, and I mean Gronk. Every now and then for those huge plays, it came up big, but it was just really boiled down to those two as the entire offense, and those are really going to be the two last people standing. It would seem with all those free agent question marks, with Gronk's retirement potentially looming. And as a Patriots fan, I expect him to retire. The way he talks about it, the way it took a mental toll on him, the way he just talks about getting hit over and over and over, and that it almost sounded like he was hinting at having depression over it at certain points, because he kept talking about the mental issues that come with being hit so repeatedly. And I mean, tight end, what a ridiculous position. You're taking the inline hits as a blocker, you're taking the over-the-middle hits as a receiver. This guy has gotten broken and beaten up time and time again. I expect him to be out. And so you take him out of the offense, you take all these receivers out of the offense, you're left with Edelman, who obviously had an unbelievable playoff run, 35 targets, 26 catches, 388 yards, 11.6 targets a game, 8.6 catches, and 130 yards per game. Ridiculous output, and he's going to be potentially the only guy left with even less targets around him. That would make him a no-brainer wide receiver 1 selection in fantasy. I mean, that's the reason he's getting Hall of Fame speculation right now, because he trails only Jerry Rice right now in postseason yardage. He probably won't ever catch those ridiculous totals by Rice, but he's number 2 on the list, and he's been an unbelievable clutch performer. He's done this before, though. He's been a playoff hero before and not had that level of production carry over into the regular season. So now it's a question, will it finally carry over? Will that finally follow him? And as you mentioned, the backfield contingency, Sony Michel really being that crucial name here. 71 carries, 336 yards, 6 TDs across 3 games. That's a 23.6 carry, 112 yard, 2 TD pace. Ridiculous. I mean, that's fantasy RB1 status, locked in, no brainer. Now, of course, the Patriots have those question marks historically with their running back situation. They've always been a committee. You never know which guy is going to end up being on top of the depth chart come the season. But when you see this guy get 70% of the carries, 71 of 102 total carries in the playoffs, and perform at the level he did, I mean, that was Corey Dillon-esque, and there was no questions who was getting the rock when Corey Dillon was there. So, of course, you got those little reservations about the shenanigans in the past. You got Sony Michel, who does have an admitted injury history, missed some time this year, came into the league with some knee questions. But if this guy does shoulder the offense like he did, and again, Belichick, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, I don't see why he's not going to get fed. And you mentioned right at the beginning of the show, too, paving lines. The holes this line was paving were unbelievable. Now, Trent Brown, huge question mark, because he's going to be a free agent, and they're already speculating they might not be able to sign him because he's going to get some humongous money, and I would love to see him back. 330 pounds, that moves unfair how fast this guy moves in terms of just paving out defenders, pulling around, and it's just ridiculous. I've never seen a lineman of this size move that athletically, but we do have Isaiah Wynn, first rounder this year, waiting in the shadows here, coming back from an injury. So worst comes to worst, we have a replacement plan. Best case, Trent Brown's back, and then we insert Isaiah Wynn in terms of guard or something of that nature and have just an even more mauling line for Sony. Oh, man, I'm just getting fucking horny thinking about what this guy could do in 2019. So Julian Edelman and Sony Michel, clearly the two guys that could be absolute fantasy monsters as they just were in this postseason come 2019 for the Patriots.